It's not a sentence. It's not a sentence at all. And then there are the other things. There's the plural singular disagreement where, what's it say? False claims, plural, fits. Should be claims fit or claim fits. But there's a disagreement between subject and verb. One is singular and one is plural. I can't tell you how many times that happens. Where there's a couple of intervening words and then all of a sudden it's singular instead of where the subject is plural. I will overlook split infinitives. I don't like split infinitives, but I will overlook them because the usage these days includes split infinitives, even in the most formal writing. I just think it's much more elegant to say making it a crime to state falsely, that one, or making it a crime falsely to state, rather than breaking up the infinitive. The quotation mark down here doesn't have any, where's the quote open? You've got to start someplace, but it's just a lonely, widowed, orphaned quotation mark. Well, that's okay. Let's go to the next one. Take a look at that and see what you think about this one. Okay, any problems? Singular slander, rather. Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, I happen to think that caused by verbal language or slanders is redundant. It's basically the same thing. Yeah. Sorry? I still can't hear you. Oh, tried, sure. Yeah, well, that's the mistake that I identified before. There's nothing tried in the Supreme Court. Yes? Too many commas? Are there? There's only one, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't really need the first one. Ben Yagoda is brilliant on this, on his little thing about the use of commas. The commas didn't bother me so much. But there's another agreement problem here, isn't there? Well, let's see. Infliction is the subject here. The verb is have. Infliction is singular. This is plural. That's another of those lack of agreement things, yeah. It should be the cause of much discussion, controversy, and the center of attention from a media standpoint. What does that mean? It doesn't mean a thing, does it? Yeah, Nicole? You're talking about lead here? Yeah, no, that should be led. What they've done here is shift tenses, right? It was the, I don't know, it's sort of a double negative. Actual pain onto, inflicting actual pain on anyone ought to be enough. You don't need the two. Content of the statement in front of you led the case to be the cause of much discussion. There's another split infinitive here, which I'll skip over. Where'd it go? Yeah, to not fall. That's really an awkward one. You know, you have been ruled. Just change that around. That you don't fall. You have to reconstitute it in some ways. Yeah. Yeah, from a media standpoint, I don't know what they're talking about there. Yes, that's optional. That's optional, I think. Yeah. When your next one is and in a list, you can put a comma or not. My copy editor, when I did my book, inserted the commas. I had left them out. I consider that optional. Then we've got leads and other comments. Anyway, okay. Go to a shorter one. Problem? Representative. If you're talking about person, yeah, and he apparently is because he describes the representation as him, the person who was arguing it. And why is this a harsh road for the representative of the United States government? Who's he got to convince? This is just a word choice problem. Yeah.
Well, why would someone from the government have to convince the government?
Yeah, he means, I think he means, convince the court. The lawyer arguing for the government has to convince the court, not the government, of course. Yeah. Sorry? Should use a dash rather than a colon. Why? That's interesting. Why? I don't know. I don't think there's a real difference between, in this context, between a colon and a dash. I mean, you're setting it off for emphasis. You set it up, then you put in whatever punctuation mark you want, colon or dash, and the rest of it grabs your attention. Ah, that's what the setup was about. But there's another problem here. Read that last clause after the colon. Yeah. Yeah. It's another one of those lack of agreement between subject and verb. That protecting was above free speech. I don't know what that means above free speech, but that's okay. How about this one? There's a lot of extra words in here. One word for sure is surplus, majority. You don't need to say it twice. This is a fairly subtle one that involves a shift in tenses that is hard to avoid, but should be avoided as you are going along. He's describing accurately the majority opinion was written, past tense by Alito. In his majority opinion, Alito states present tense. Well, it seems to me when you're describing what a court has decided, what somebody has done in the past, you say it past, but for sure you don't flip back and forth between past and present. Then we got Justice Sotomayor. Despite the lines do not, you know, or it could be or. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't see that. What else in that last phrase? It should be they. It depends on what you're talking about. This is what I call the sloppy use of it. What does it refer to? It probably refers to lies, but it's indeterminate. Nobody can tell from the writing what the it actually refers to. Also, that phrase here, despite the lack of value in false speech, doesn't set up very well. It mixed up a couple of different ideas. I think the sense of the writer was, even though there's no particular value in false speech, you could say that. Okay. Any problem? An individual to claim that they have received. This is one that I've struggled against for years in a totally losing battle, and I give up. I give up. Your generation is going to use they and their, no matter what the antecedent is. You know, your generation is going to say, my friend Jane refused to give me their book. Her book. It's perfectly obvious that the antecedent was feminine, not masculine. So you don't need to use they or their in order to avoid sexism in your writing. But the problem is that your generation seems to want to say that an individual is plural, like a court. A court rendered their decision yesterday. It's a singular. A court is singular. There is plural. I give up. You'll do it. I won't mark you down for using that. But I want you to know the suffering that I've gone through because of having to read this. The second sentence after the comma is totally unnecessary. Pleaded guilty at the district court, period. Or didn't later find him guilty. He pleaded guilty, period. Then we got dangling modifiers, a consistent problem in all kinds of writing. You see where they are? The two of them. They're in the last sentence. Taking his appeal to the Ninth Circuit, the decision was overturned. The decision didn't take his appeal to the Ninth Circuit. That dangling modifier is about somebody else or something else. And then the decision was overturned, finding that the act is unconstitutional. The overturned was finding that the dangling modifier does not work. Okay, try this. This, I have to say, is not grammatical mistake problem. These are word choice problems that are relevant to this course by itself. The ruling, Kennedy's ruling, accepted that strict scrutiny must be applied. You wouldn't say accepted, you'd say ruled, or decided that strict scrutiny has to be applied. And then this shows up a lot in this course because the speech in question is content-based. That's nonsense. The concept is strict scrutiny applies if the law is content-based. If the restriction on the speech is based on the content of the speech, then strict scrutiny applies. It's not that the speech is content-based, it's that the law or the restriction is content-based. That's just a vocabulary problem unique to this course, not a real writing mistake. Try this one. How carefully proofread is this paper? Problems? Passes muster? You editors are going to let this by? That random they is because it wasn't proofread. It was something. I don't know why it was there. It was a typo. Why hand in a paper that's not been proofread? Yeah. Can't hear you. I'm an old man and I'm half deaf. Belt it out. Yes, the lack of agreement. Justice Kagan raised. She might have raised it in the past, or she raises it now, but Justice Kagan raised an interesting point. No, that doesn't work. Portray what? A desired yet fictitious persona. I don't really understand that. And what's this writer mean at the end? Kagan has been known to pursue for the restriction of First Amendment speech. Can I guess what the writer means there? I don't know. Certainly a terrible word choice. I wouldn't say either Justice Alito is in compliance with Scalia. Agrees with. Why not use a nice direct word? Not passive voice. Use a nice direct word like agrees with. Try this. Which specifically states that? Oh, you can leave out the that? You can. The California courts leave out the that. I always put the that in. I don't consider it a mistake to put the that in. But it's optional. You don't have to. If you're looking to pare down to the bone how many words you've got to deal with, get rid of the extra one. That's one possibility. One reason, just by the way, that I put fairly tight space limits on your papers is to discipline your writing so that you can't use extra words. You have to cut to the chase and say exactly what you want to say without any surplus. That's a real good habit to learn. In the brief time I was a television journalist at Channel 9, I get an assignment to go out and do a story on X to air three nights from now. And I go off and I do interviews and I do my research and we go out and shoot 2 hours worth of tape, 3 hours worth of tape, come back, edit it down, write the script, get the script key to the picture, distill it down to, say, 8 minutes. Then I go see the director. I've cut it to the bare bone. There's nothing in there that I consider surplus. I go to the director and I say, how much time are you giving me? This is a minute and a half. I've got to cut from the bone down to a minute and a half. You can't include anything extra. If you're going to do television writing, radio writing, even any kind of newspaper writing, whether it's state station, you got to be able to avoid anything extra. So what do we got here? We got the word that we could cut. What else? Yeah. What if it's not the end of the quotation, though? Well, I'm not sure about that. Let me say I'm not sure about that. But there are other problems. You put your finger on one of them. You don't need the brackets at all. Just the dots that indicate the ellipse. Brackets is, you don't need it all. Angelica? Yeah, I mean, what this purports to be, to use a lawyerly word, this purports to be a quotation of the statute. I guarantee you, the Congress did not put slashes in their statute. It's an inaccurate quotation of the statute. If you quote something, it's got to be verbatim exactly what you're quoting. There can't be some interpretation of what you're quoting and then put it between quotation marks. So that you've got the slash problem, himself, herself. Congress said no such thing. Put in 2 sets of. Any issues here? No trial in the Supreme Court, and even if there were trials in the Supreme Court, you've got an extra word in there. Put to on trial, put the trial maybe, or it was on trial maybe. Since there's no trials in the Supreme Court, that doesn't work anyway. Yeah. Yeah. What taking into consideration the precedents? No, the precedent TS of previous cases, and that's redundant. You say of similar cases, taking into consideration the precedents TS. There has been what? There has been what? Consistence? There's no such word. Yeah. Yeah, you don't get sentenced to be convicted. You are either convicted or you're sentenced. Maybe sentenced after you're convicted, but you're not sentenced to be convicted. And then here's this newspaper report of the decision, in which the newspaper report says what happened here. Whoops, sorry, pardon me. The case can go either way. Wait a second. The case was decided yesterday. What do you mean the case can go either way? It doesn't matter. But it's a report of a decision that's happened. So report what they decided. Don't say it could go either way. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the problems with the spell check, right? Because metal, M-E-T-A-L, is a perfectly good word. It's the wrong word here. So spell check does not cure all the problems. Spell check, yes, not do. It's a given. Don't have anything in that hasn't been spell checked. It's going to be proofread too by a human. Convicting claims, where's that? Has been consistent with convicting fraudulent claims that claims don't get convicted. That's just a mistake. Okay, how are we doing here? Isn't it fun reading these things? I could try reading 141 of them. Okay, what's the problem here? Freedom of speech? The freedom in speech, yeah. Should be freedom of speech. Not the right word, yeah? Yeah. I submit